No, Bob Bauman. Senator LaTanya Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Jim Cantor.
Here.
Comptroller Liz Sumner.
Here.
Representative Jesse Rodriguez. Comptroller Bill Christensen.
Here.
Mr. Grady Crosby. Mr. Mark Flaherty. Representative Kaylin Haywood. Mr. Greg Marcus. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, great, thank you. With that, we will begin the meeting of our Finance and Personnel Joint Committee meeting today. First would be any discussion and the approval of the meeting minutes from our last Finance and Personnel Committee meeting, which was back in May of 2020. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you. Marty, do you have something?
Yeah, we'll have to hold.
Okay, sounds good. With that, we'll turn it over to Kyle, who is going to our financial. Kyle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everyone. Today's financial update will include a review of our year-to-date income statement and our projected year-end forecast. Before we dive into the numbers, though, I'd like to share a couple important updates. The 2026 budget process is well underway, consistent with past practice. We'll first present the draft budget to the Finance Committee at the October 30th meeting. We'll be seeking their endorsement at that meeting. And then following that, we'll present the budget to the full board, and the management will be seeking a vote for the budget to be adopted. This is my 6th budget cycle here at the district. While the process is familiar, it's the first with a full year of operations in the expanded convention center behind us. The 2026 budget will be designed to build on the success of the past year while ensuring we remain on stable financial footing. At the November meeting, we will also ask the board to vote on the annual resolution to transfer capital maintenance funds from the trustee to the district's operating account to partially fund the 2026 capital budget. 2 important action items as we begin preparing for the next fiscal year, so please make arrangements to be available on November 7th. Lastly, Marty and I, along with Justin Fisher and his team at Baird, have been evaluating refunding options for the 2016 appropriation debt. This is the debt that funds the Pfizer Forum. As with past practice, the goal is to strengthen the district's financial position, and refunding presents an opportunity to do just that. The potential savings of a refunding depend on market conditions, and we will keep the committee and board updated as we move into 4th quarter of 2025. Okay, so let's dive into the financial reports, and we'll start with page 8 of your packet, which is the event mix summary. As you can see on line 21, column B, the current 2025 event mix forecast shows we'll end the year at 334 events, which is about 87% of our budget. This is an increase of 6 events from the event mix that was shared with the committee in May. Biggest gap right now is line 5, corporate meetings. This business segment typically contributes the least amount of net income, bottom line, so lack of events booked under this category isn't overly concerning. As you've heard before, while the numbers in this event mix can be useful in understanding the levels of event activity on campus, they are far from perfect when attempting to understand building utilization, ultimately net income. We'll continue to work with SBA to develop a more transparent, relevant metrics to measure the district's event activity, and we may look to introduce those key performance indicators next fiscal year.
Can I have a question on that? Is that mostly local companies that rent Baird Center for
meetings? Is that?
Yeah, it's typically a shorter booking window, so we could possibly even see a couple pop in over the last fourth quarter, Jim, but yeah, you're right about that.
And is that just general thought that it's slower right now with the economy and uncertainty, or is it something that's an ongoing thing? Is it a blip? It's obviously a decent amount, and maybe Marty, it's more.
Yeah, I think it's something as we developing the 26 budget, we're realistic with. That number used to be much healthier. A&M built. They were a big client of ours, and we really haven't adjusted downward that meeting number because they were our primary user going back 7 years ago. And I still keep hoping it's going to come back. So we need to be more realistic. I think it's as much a budgeting issue that we've been taking, not reacting to the environment.
Much of our blue sky is built under that category, the corporate meetings category. So there could be some, I could get the exact numbers, but there could be some blue sky built into that number rather than an actual event that was booked before when the budget was together. All right, moving on to page 9 of your packet, you'll find the year-to-date income statement through July with columns A, B, C, and D across the top. Starting at the bottom, line 65, column C, shows we're essentially on budget with only a slight variance of about $10,000 through July. Moving back up on the page, line 14, column C, shows total operating income is better than budget by about $886,000 or 5.5%. You'll see throughout the income statement reports, line 4, food and beverage revenue is now exceeding budget. At the May meetings, actuals and forecasts in this category were well below expectations. Since then, we've held a series of meetings, to implement strategies aimed at controlling costs of sales and labor while maintaining service standards. So thanks to those initiatives, coupled with a strong slate of summer events, including Baird, Northwestern Mutual, Crew, and the Medicaid conference, food and beverage has come in much better than we expected in May, and we expect to finish the year ahead of budget. The other revenue categories are modestly plus or minus to budget, but the F&B business segment is the primary reason we are seeing better than budget operating income. Moving on down to line 27, operating expenses trending about 7% over budget. Line 17, contract services is higher due to an increase in our setup and cleaning contractors. Specifically, we saw an unbudgeted rise in the changeovers by our third-party labor provider, driven by the Admirals extended playoff run. In addition, we made a change in the way we are recording hospitality funds related to naming rights contracts that flows through this line, and that is contributing to this variance. And lastly, line 20, event expense is also over budget, primarily due to higher food and beverage revenue share with the Admirals and tied to the playoff run. Despite the negative variance in operating expenses, line 28, net operating income is beating budget by $71,000 or 1.6%, which is really good news. Moving to line 34, tax revenues is also exceeding budget by about $30,000 through July. There are a couple of puts and takes within these 4 categories, but nothing overly concerning. We continue to forecast our budget the remainder of the year and are cautiously optimistic we can see this line item grow before year end. Line 39, total non-operating revenue is down to budget. This is really due to line 38, Bucks district ticket surcharge, namely a result of Bucks early playoff exit at the end of last season. We had assumed a deeper playoff run in our budget. Moving to non-operating expense, line 64, column C, we're within 0.1% of our budget, essentially right on target. Several puts and takes here. Larger negative variances are health and dental premiums, line 44, and legal expense, line 50. Health and dental premiums are outpacing budget due to early onboarding of employees earlier this year. Legal expenses higher than budget as a result of some project initiatives the leadership team has been working on with Hush Blackwell. Most other line items are close to budget, with minor variances largely tied to timing. We expect most of the timing variances to smooth out by year end. As an example, IT expense line 52 is under budget through July by about $72,000 or 13%. We expect that positive variance to close by year end. Overall, though, line 65 shows net income of $20.3 million, essentially right on budget and reflecting a very strong and financially healthy 7 months for the district. All right, so where do we land at year end? Let's turn the page, starting again, page 10 here, showing the annual forecast in column F compared to the annual budget in column E. Starting at the bottom with line 65, column G, projected to finish the year just under budget by 155,000 or less than 1%. We move back up to line 14, total operating income is projected to finish about $1 million over budget, an improvement of roughly $114,000 over our year-to-date results. Based on the events we have booked in the fourth quarter, we expect to continue to outperform in line 1, event room fees, and line 4, food and beverage revenue. On the expense side, line 28, do expect dollar amounts to increase as we approach year end, but as a percent of revenue, expenses are actually trending down. We continue to monitor wages and contract services closely as we enter the 25-26 season for UWM basketball, the Admirals, and Wade. Moving to line 34, tax revenues. As noted earlier, we continue to forecast our budget, but we believe there is potential for upside. As you're aware, there's a 2-month lag between when we receive tax results, and we just received the July results earlier this week. As for the non-operating revenue, line 35, interest income is projected to outperform budget at year end. This is not tied to any single account, but rather reflects a stronger market performance than what we had assumed in the budget. And as you'll likely recall, this number was significantly higher last year due to the large project fund balances that were generating interest. What you see here, subject to market conditions and cash balances, represents a more typical level of interest income. Continuing to non-operating expenses, there are no major changes from the trends we've seen through the first 7 months, but I'll highlight again some of the bigger variances. Line 44, once again, health and dental expenses running higher than budget. That's again due to the greater enrollment that we planned for. And line 50 and 57, legal and recruiting expense, are projected to show larger negative variances as noted. Legal costs are up given the project initiatives management has been working on with Huck Blackwell, and recruiting costs are tied to the VP of Marketing and Communications search. All in all, we expect to finish the year within a percentage of budget. Management is pleased with the results. At this time, we do not see significant risk remaining. When we review these numbers for the last time in January, we don't anticipate a material deviation from the forecast. Pause there and any questions on the income statement. Okay. Well, I'm not going to touch on them today. Pages 11 and 12 of your packet. Page 11 compares the 2024 actual results to the 2025 forecast, and page 12 compares the May forecast to today's forecast. Moving on to page 13, find the district's capital budget forecast. Line 36 shows that we're expecting to spend a little over the $3.9 million budgeted for capital in 2025. There's a number of puts and takes across this exhibit. Management has reprioritized certain projects. Line 37, arena concession stand upgrades. This represents a portion of the capital improvements required under the Admirals contract. And while there's several line items that are projected for full spend, we believe there is still room to close the $157,000 overage as shown in line 36. As we assess needs and opportunities for 2026, some of these projects not funded in 25 may be considered funding in the upcoming year. Pages 14 and 15.
Kyle, so up the concession stand upgrade that is going to happen or that's been put on?
That is happening right
It is
now.
actually
Yeah,
another-
I
yeah.
think
Okay.
it's probably in the end stages of being completed
Got it.
before the season.
That's part of this. contributing.
Oh, it's in there already.
It's already
Got
in
it. Got
Not
it.
in addition to
I thought it was in addition. Got it.
Yeah, lines 37 through 41 on the capital budget are combined to line 35 with the NC line.
So that-
So the 295
Okay.
is made up of that Admiral's project. Pages 14 and 15 outline the district's unrestricted and restricted cash position, both of which remain in a healthy state. On page 14, unrestricted cash is projected to end the year at approximately 13.3 million. While this is under budget, it is stronger than our May forecast by 850,000. Continued strength in premium food and beverage revenues, along with control of our non-operating expenses, could help close the variance to budget. Overall, though, management is not concerned about the unrestricted cash position at this time. And on page 15, restricted revenues are expected to grow by $6.3 million over the course of the year, finishing with an ending balance of $27.9 million. While tax revenues are slightly ahead of budget, the the positive variance is primarily due to the admin fee refund line 11, stronger than expected interest income on line 19. So as I noted earlier, management is pleased with the 2025 financial results, both on a net income and cash basis. We look forward to building on this performance as we move into 2026. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Kyle on this?
Oh, yeah. Can you just explain the admin fee refund?
Yes, I can. There is a annual true up that the DOR does to refund a portion of an administrative fee. So it's an estimate, and they true it up in August every year. And they will send us a letter, and the variance or the delta between this is covering administrative services to disperse the cash and go through kind of being the mediator of collecting that monies. They'll refund the difference between what they estimated and what the actual is, and they'll put that will go into the restricted account directly into the restricted account.
And then just one question about the events. You had said that what we were seeing, what you're showing us now is 60 events more than what we discussed today.
Oh, 6. Sorry.
Just 6.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
60.
why?
Yeah, 60 would be-
Okay.
That'd be good though.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Are there any other questions for Kyle? All right. If not, great job, Kyle. Thank you. And we will turn it over to
Yeah.
that would be.
I'm not voting on that though, right?
Correct. You don't-
Okay.
Doing roll call again. Mr. Grady Crosby. Mr. Mark Flaherty.
Here.
Representative Kaylin Haywood.
Aye.
Mr. Greg Marcus. Mr. Jim Cantor.
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Great. Just want to also get for the approval in the meeting minutes from the governance committee. So any discussion on the meeting minutes from May of 2025? Motion for approval.
Second. Oh, motion for.
Or
Go ahead. I did, didn't I?
you did? Yeah.
Who's gonna make the motion? Oh, I'll second it.
Second, great. All right.
Nobody's here.
We have all in favor say aye. Aye. I think we're
Aye.
any non? Thrown off. All right. Meeting minutes are approved from the governance committee meeting. So Marty, back to you.
Thank you. Before I go over an overview of what I'll be sharing with the board next week, I would like to do two things. First, I meant to do this at the beginning. Welcome Kyle at the adult table.
Oh, thank you.
He's been in the room in the past at the committee and board meetings and he's really stepped up and lead the finance department. 2 hires since the additional responsibilities. Finance department is fully up to speed with that, and we welcome you to the adult table.
Thanks.
We have to clean up and do the dishes after.
The hazing.
Now, the hazing hasn't even started. Let's get the budget approved. Then that's hazing number 1, get
All
the
right.
budget approved. And then, one other thing I'd like to do before is turn it over to Joe, just to give an update on the HR issues that we dealt with over the summer.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. The leadership team and the board chair recognize that the committee members may have some additional questions about the recent personnel changes at district. And I'm here to tell you that the district is a party to confidential agreements with both Steve Marsh and Sarah Mayo. So we are somewhat limited in what we can share with you at this time. We have, however, arranged to have Eric Eisenman, a partner of ours, who assisted the district in those negotiations, to appear at next week's full board meeting to answer your questions. He'll also be able to provide some additional details, but I'd ask that you hold off those questions in this discussion until the full.
Did you have a question?
Kind of. I didn't know a statement. The whole room should be involved in the questions I'm going to ask. Only the board members.
May as well. They're holding it.
Yeah, I would ask that we hold off those questions until Eric is here, as he was on the front line.
Okay.
Thanks.
I just don't want to get sued. I'm serious about this. I have a fellow that runs our barbecue thing, and he's on the similar board of Northwest Indiana. Situation kind of similar, and all the board members got sued. It's still going on.
Really?
Yeah. So
We will address that.
okay.
So I think just.
I don't want to get sued.
I don't think anybody wants to, and I think we've all handled it very well up to this point. So I think we have a broader conversation with the balance of the board next week. So I know we all want to know, we have questions, we want to get those questions answered, but I would ask that if we can just hold off on that for a week, we will have those questions answered with the balance of the board. So we're all on the same. Fair?
Next week's board meeting, Eric is in the room. We're going to go in closed session for that. So we'll be able to have as detailed of a conversation as we can. And I did check last week. Our director's insurance is paid in full, at least through next Thursday. Now,
Okay, Marty?
thank you. As far as what I'm going to go into detail for next week, just going to give a rundown of the different issues so you're aware of them. First, give an update on where the district sales team is, along with the Visit Milwaukee sales team, as far as meetings and conventions that have been contracted since our last board meeting. Go through the event activities that we have had in our 3 buildings since the board meeting, as well as nice events that we have scheduled to occur through the end of 2025. Also give an update on where we are with corporate partnerships. We've closed 4 new multi-year sponsorship agreements. So I'm happy to share that with you next week. And as well, give an update on the progress of where Hunt and Partners is in the development of fact-finding and focus group summary. They started back in July. They're on track. Update on that next week. Something that I want to make sure everyone is aware of. Yesterday afternoon, I saw an alert come up. There was a press release issued yesterday by the Marcus Corporation announcing that while they had previously announced that they were shutting down 175 rooms of the Hilton, they are not, and they are converting that into an independent limited service property going to be called The Mark, and they WRC Hotel. Happy to forward to anyone who'd like to see the press release. I was very surprised, pleasantly, to see this yesterday. So I was concerned that Visit and Megan Setman and her team had the loss of those 175 rooms at the Hilton, and while they'll come out of the Hilton flag, they'll still be. So this is good news. Mention business. We'll talk about where Kyle, Brian Rakowski, and I, as far as developing our strategy to meet with the admirals, had discussions with the board. We've shared discussions that we're engaged in right now are for 2 years that would take their contract coterminous and ending with UWM's contract in July of 2020. So let you know where we are with that plan and our scheduled meetings with the admirals to continue that. Where we are with the process of filling our VP marketing position. We've had a number of really good interviews and are bringing back a candidate next week in person to learn more about them and then about us. Share with you a number of local and national acknowledgments the district and Baird Center have received since May, as well as showing a video that I've not yet seen, but there will be a video running early next week on CNBC. It's part of their tribute coverage of Climate Week. It's the Climate Week Summit, Climate Week World Summit is happening next week in the city. They're running a number of different features on what organizations are doing as far as sustainability and things to support lessening of damage to our climate. And we were selected to be the only venue that they've highlighted. It's going to be about a 6-minute feature next week running on CNBC domestic and internationally that interviewed myself, Mayor, and the gentleman from EUA who led the charge in planning all of the sustainable elements of our building. So anxious to see it, and we'll have a copy of that to share with the board next week. Also, kind of give you an update on a new initiative that is really something that the HR department led the charge on, and it's in response to information we continue to receive from our employees from the employee engagement survey. Consistently, it comes back that the employees are looking for training, more information, and not just on their professional growth, but how they can learn things to help them in their personal lives as well. So through the influence of Marcom and HR, we've come up with a new program that's titled EPX University, and it's a training and career development program designed to help our employees unlock new skills, grow and gain the tools needed for success throughout their professional and personal. A number of programs that started for enrollment, developed a logo for it, a number of the 2 different levels of this training. One is for managers and above, and the rest is for the line staff. And I'm very excited. It's something that we're reacting to support further growth of our. And Mr. Chairman, as far as those are the topics I'll be covering, and I'll try to be succinct next week so I don't go on forever, but there's a lot of good stuff to share in detail with the board.
Any questions for Marty on the phone in the room? All right, we have the board meeting. It's very similar. We have that next week, very similar to the topics we covered today. I'll go through finance updates, Marty with the CO report with a little more robust as he described, and then we'll have a closed session with our personnel discussion, Mark, that you and the dates. Still have a few dates left. As pointed out by Kyle, we have some very important dates on our next meetings for both the Finance Committee, Governance Committee, and then our board meeting.
We can do it after.
For our budget reviews and our budget approvals. One agenda item that we did have for today was just the consideration and recommendation for the slate of officers for the Center District. I think at this point, Joe, from our conversation, we do not need to go into a closed session for for that. Because I think the slate is who we currently have. We have one person in each position that is run.
So I can make this relatively quick and should be painless. The bylaws require that the governance committee members recommend a slate of officers for full board approval at next week's session. It's been noticed. The current officers are Mr. Jim Cantor, board chair, Mr. Grady Crosby, vice chair, Mr. Mark Flaherty, secretary, and Mr. Greg Marcus, treasurer. As in years past, Marty Brooks contacted each of those sitting officers to confirm interest in serve. Mr. Brooks also invited others to self-nominate or nominate others. All four current officers required to continue to serve. There are no other pending nominees. So the slate being presented for action by vote of the governance committee members present is a slate consisting of the current slate. Again, that's Mr. Jim Cantor for board chair, Mr. Grady Crosby for vice chair, Mr. Mark Flaherty for secretary, and Mr. Greg Marcus treasurer. And that would require a vote.
This time? Right, so I would ask for a vote for approval of those nominees for the individual positions that Joe Pickard has. You have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the slate, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. So we are approved to go to the full board meeting for approval. Thank you, Joe. With that, if there are any other discussion items, please get those to us probably within the next 24 hours so we can get them on the agenda for next week. We do have to publish that agenda in advance. So if you have anything, please contact myself, Marty, Joe, Robin to get those on the agenda item. If not, I will seek a motion to adjourn. We have a second. Thank you. All approved, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for your time and attention today.